Trey Gowdy, doesn't hurt to ask, using the power of questions to communicate, connect, and persuade. In It Doesn't Hurt to Ask, using the power of questions to communicate, connect, and persuade, Trey Gowdy reveals that the art of persuasion is not about winning, but about creating understanding and guiding others to see your perspective. Gowdy introduces the importance of asking questions to engage with others, helping them draw their own conclusions while steering the conversation towards your objectives with fact-based arguments. In this summary, you will learn how to use different types of questions, display sincerity, and tactfully impeach an opponent's argument. Be prepared to transform your approach to communication and persuasion by diving into the strategies shared in this summary.
Persuasion through insightful questions. Persuasion is not about dominating arguments but rather focusing on effective communication and understanding. By using insightful questions, you can guide others toward self-discovery, which can be a powerful and subtle way to influence their thoughts and decisions. Questions put the focus on the other person and prevent them from becoming defensive. However, it is important to ask relevant and meaningful questions, as there is indeed such a thing as a stupid question. Persuading others isn't about crushing them in a verbal battle but, instead, focusing on establishing strong connections, listening intently, and using compelling rationale to share your beliefs. Ultimately, it's the art of subtly influencing others, and one of the most effective methods is through asking questions. By directing the focus toward the conversation partner, you can gently guide them toward the desired conclusion while avoiding defensive reactions. The power of questions is demonstrated by the author's personal experience. Initially, he was set on working construction jobs upon completing high school. However, a friend's mother, through a series of well-crafted questions, helped him introspect and discover his aspiration to become a lawyer. She didn't tell him what to do or persuade with assertions, instead, she let him reach the realization on his own. However, it is crucial to recognize that not all questions are helpful or effective. Inappropriate or irrelevant questions can damage credibility, as illustrated by the author's account of asking about the color of a blue bag during a robbery trial, which led to laughter in the courtroom. Nonetheless, even a foolish question can be more favorable than an ignorant or inaccurate statement. For instance, asking who wrote Hamlet may reveal a gap in knowledge, but claiming George Washington wrote it indicates a deeper misinterpretation. In a discussion or debate, asking meaningful questions can establish trust and credibility, as it demonstrates a willingness to learn and understand, rather than persisting in misinformation. Make use of thoughtful questions to emphasize the art of persuasion and guide others subtly towards self-discovery and growth. Art of Realistic Persuasion. The true essence of persuasion is understanding your objectives, gathering facts, and knowing your audience. Strive to move your conversation partners closer to your beliefs, rather than attempting to convince them 100%. Set clear, measurable goals, base your arguments on facts, and tailor your approach according to your audience's beliefs and openness to change. Real persuasion isn't about achieving 100% conviction, like in a court case. Life's conversations involving politics, business, and family values are filled with differing opinions and value judgments. In these scenarios, gently steering someone closer to your beliefs while being receptive to theirs is a more attainable and practical objective. It's crucial to recognize your objectives from the outset. Knowing what you want to achieve in the conversation sets the foundation for your approach. Aiming to convince someone 30 to 50% is a much more pragmatic goal. As your conversation partner begins to see your point, they may start questioning their own beliefs. For instance, your spouse may acknowledge their unequal share in household chores, or an investor might consider putting money into your startup. Setting clear and measurable objectives simplifies planning your argument. Once you establish what you want to achieve, gather supporting information founded on facts to cement your point. In this digital age, conducting thorough research by critically analyzing sources accessible on the internet should not pose a significant challenge. Keep in mind that your burden of proof varies depending on your objectives. Encouraging a $10,000 investment in your venture necessitates stronger, fact-based arguments compared to a request of $100. To achieve the desired result, you must adjust the intensity of your arguments accordingly. When presenting your case, understanding your audience and tailoring your argument to suit their beliefs and disposition is essential. Whether it's a group of colleagues, family members, or a jury in a courtroom, asking questions can help reveal their opinions, the reasoning behind those opinions, and their willingness to be persuaded. An upfront inquiry like, "Are you open to hearing about this?" can save you time and effort, allowing you to gauge receptiveness before delving into the discussion. Remember, the ultimate goal of persuasion is gracefully leading your conversation partner towards your beliefs while respecting their own thoughts and values. The power of questions. A skilled communicator knows the importance of asking the right question at the right moment. Questions can shape the direction of a conversation, spark new pathways of thought, and provide critical insights. Broadly, questions can be categorized as softballs or hardballs, each serving a specific purpose. Softball questions are non-leading, encouraging open and honest responses, while hardball questions are focused, putting the questioned on the spot. However, the question, why, stands in a category of its own, capable of revealing motivations and inciting profound reactions. During a television interview with President Trump, the author chose to ask a thought-provoking question about the justice system and politics rather than directly giving his view. This savvy move illustrates the strategic power of asking contextually appropriate questions. Softball questions, such as, "What inspired you to run for office?" give the responder ample space to openly share their thoughts, feelings, or experiences. These inquiries often begin with who, what, or when, granting the respondent control over their answer's direction. Softball questions convey our interest in others' opinions, laying a neutral foundation upon which to build our argument. Hardball questions, on the other hand, aim to either confirm our point or counteract an opposing argument. These leading questions spotlight the query itself, frequently implying their answers. An example might be, "Didn't I tell you to take out the trash this morning?" Here, "yes" is insinuated as the answer, making the question feel pressured or defensive. Lastly, the question, why, holds unparalleled significance among questions. Why digs deep into motives and can reveal unexpected truths or striking differences in response. Imagine asking someone why they killed their spouse. One response citing abuse and another mentioning mere snoring can evoke wildly divergent reactions. Ultimately, the art of conversation lies in knowing which type of question works best for any given situation, helping us navigate complex interactions and gain deeper understanding. Mastering sincerity in communication. To be convincing, one must be sincere. Avoid insults, hypocrisy, and lying to maintain credibility. Passionately convey genuine emotions and connect your message to universally important values to win the trust of your audience. As it turns out, a vital secret to effective communication is sincerity. By centering your message around genuine emotions and honest beliefs, you will become a more credible and persuasive speaker. To be sincere, there are 3 critical pitfalls to avoid. Firstly, steer clear of insults. Insulting your audience will only make them defensive and drive a wedge between you and them, thwarting any chance for persuasion. Secondly, avoid hypocritical behavior. Double standards in your argument will raise doubt and undermine the moral basis of your claim. Lastly, eliminate dishonesty from your speech. People tend to forgive honest mistakes, but intentional deception can permanently damage your credibility. On the other side of the coin, aim to incorporate genuine emotions into your message. Passion about your beliefs shows your audience that you truly care and helps create a connection with them. Whether it's a deeply emotional issue, such as seeking justice, or a mundane one, like convincing your children to come to dinner on time, the key is to tie your subject matter to universally significant values. When dealing with everyday matters, search for the underlying principles that make the issue truly meaningful. For example, when speaking about dinner time, emphasize how it's not simply about missing a meal but about the importance of respecting one another's time and upholding familial bonds. By aligning your message with values like fairness, justice, and family, you can passionately and sincerely convey even the smallest of issues. In conclusion, effective communication is built upon the foundation of sincerity. By avoiding insults, hypocrisy, and dishonesty, and putting forth genuinely passionate emotions, you can win your audience's trust and convincingly express your ideas. Mastering credibility killers. Credibility killers can make or break arguments, and understanding how to use them can enhance persuasive skills. These include disputing facts, questioning logic, and challenging character. By honing these techniques, you can impeach your opponent's rationale and cast doubt on their credibility. Credibility killers, those destructive forces that can put your sincerity or credibility in jeopardy, come in three main forms: insults, hypocrisy, and lying. While these elements might pose a threat to your argument, they can be turned into powerful tools if used against your opponent. Think of credibility killers as impeachment weapons. Impeachment, in the context of persuasion, refers to targeting someone's argument and breaking it down using three distinct methods: disputing facts, challenging logic, or questioning their character. The first method of impeachment is by questioning the facts on which your opponent bases their argument. Challenge their sources of information and understanding to undermine their claims. If you can expose their facts as nothing more than hearsay or unfounded claims, you can deliver a significant blow to their overall argument. The second impeachment technique revolves around disputing your opponent's logic. If their facts are accurate, but their conclusion differs from yours, this tactic can reveal the flaws in their reasoning. A classic example involves an argument made by Julian Castro, Obama's Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, advocating citizenship for undocumented immigrants based on the success of a few individuals. By questioning the logical connection between a handful of achievements and broad policy decisions, the effectiveness of Castro's argument was undermined. The most potent yet challenging impeachment method is targeting your opponent's character. By demonstrating that they are dishonest, biased, or morally compromised, you can discredit their argument in the eyes of the audience. An additional approach is the concept of hitchhiking, which involves impeaching an argument by questioning the credibility of someone connected to the opponent. During the investigation of the Hillary Clinton email scandal, this strategy was employed by asking former FBI Director James Comey a series of questions designed to expose inconsistencies in Clinton's claims. While never explicitly accusing her of lying, this technique effectively cast doubt on her credibility. In conclusion, mastering credibility killers allows you to enhance your persuasive abilities by dismantling your opponent's arguments. By effectively disputing facts, challenging logic, or questioning character, you can cast doubt on their credibility and strengthen your position in any debate or discussion. Fine-tune persuasion skills. Becoming more persuasive requires refining your language and techniques. Aim for clarity and precision with your words, avoiding generalizations that can be easily countered. Reinforce your point by repeating key phrases, ensuring your audience understands its importance. If necessary, repackage an opposing argument by presenting it in a different and potentially absurd context to expose its flaws effectively. When in a conversation or debate, it's essential to choose your words wisely. Many people present points in vague or imprecise terms, making it challenging to grasp their meaning or intention. By seeking clarity and precision with your questions or statements, you're more likely to expose the weaknesses in another person's argument and persuade them effectively. For example, instead of using general words like everybody, always, or never, hone in on specifics, such as asking someone, "Why didn't you unload the dishwasher?" rather than exclaiming, "You never do any chores." Once you've crafted your question or statement, repeating it can further emphasize its importance. While repetition may not seem like an appealing rhetorical skill, it ensures that your audience fully grasps the weight of your message. For instance, during a trial, the author repeatedly asked an accused man various forms of the same question about stabbing his wife. This repetition ingrained the phrase, "when you stabbed your wife," into the jury's minds, ultimately helping to convince them of his guilt. Lastly, if you're struggling to dismantle an opposing argument, consider repackaging it. This strategy involves rephrasing the argument in an absurd manner to highlight its inherent flaws or inconsistencies. For example, when confronted with the suggestion that a woman should have known better than to return to an abusive partner, the author responded, "So you're saying it's her fault she was abused?" By altering the statement, he illuminated the true implications of the opposing argument and advocated effectively for domestic violence victims. By adopting these techniques, measuring your words, repeating critical points, and repackaging arguments, you'll be better equipped to fine-tune your persuasion skills and communicate more convincingly. Mastering lost argument recovery. Even with exceptional persuasion skills, sometimes it's hard to win every argument. Knowing what to do when faced with a failing argument is crucial for maintaining your credibility and steering the conversation back on track. To recover from a failing argument, try these 4 strategies: create a diversion, deconstruct the opponent's points, double down on your strongest points, or, as a last resort, play the victim card. As a master of persuasion, acknowledging that not every argument can be won is important. However, understanding how to mitigate the damage of a losing argument can save face and help you maintain credibility. The first step is recognizing your weaknesses and giving them ample preparation. Spending equal time strengthening weak points will prevent easily targeted vulnerabilities during an argument. When a well-prepared argument still starts to fail, it's time to deploy some last-minute recovery tactics. Keep in mind this crucial advice: if your argument is collapsing, choose to divert, deconstruct, double down, or play the victim. Stop digging when in a hole. This adage is essential to recovering a lost argument. Knowing when to change tactics and move forward is vital. One of these tactics is creating a diversion. By interrupting your opponent with questions, you halt their momentum and redirect the discussion while keeping the focus on them. The second strategy, deconstruction, involves challenging each assumption your opponent presents. Slowing them down with questions like, "How do you know that?" and "How can you be sure of this?" will make it harder for them to solidify their argument. Doubling down on your strongest points is the third tactic. Focusing on a particularly compelling fact or argument and repeating it can buy you valuable time to figure out an escape from the losing argument while keeping your stance relevant. When all else fails, playing the victim card is a viable option. Though it may not be the most dignified approach, people's inherent empathy towards victims can sway opinion in your favor. For example, when President Obama attacked Paul Ryan during the Affordable Care Act debate, Ryan used this tactic to question the fairness of Obama's accusations and evoke sympathy. In conclusion, understanding that losing arguments is a part of persuasion mastery and knowing how to recover from them is crucial. By applying these 4 strategies, diversion, deconstruction, doubling down, and playing the victim, you can maintain your credibility in control of the conversation. Mastering persuasion artfully. To become an expert in persuasion, emphasize successful communication rather than winning arguments. Set realistic expectations, guide your audience towards drawing their own conclusions, and remain open to opposing viewpoints. It's important to refine these skills through practice and real-life experiences. Mastering persuasion is an invaluable skill that even young lawyers struggle with, as the author discovered while hiring young litigators. The ability to persuade develops over time as you gain more real-life experience while honing this craft. The essence of persuasion lies not in winning debates, but rather in effective communication that encourages others to form their own conclusions. Keeping your expectations grounded paves the path to success. Changing someone's opinion over a single conversation is rare, especially in polarizing subjects such as gun control or abortion. Instead of aiming to achieve complete agreement, focus on presenting the merits of your argument and let the listener decide. Remember the old saying, "You can lead a horse to water but you can't make it drink." Utilizing thought-provoking questions is a powerful tool to guide your audience towards the desired conclusion gently. However, convincing others is ultimately their own decision. Everyone has a unique way of processing information, so consider how your message will resonate with each individual within your audience. As you continue to develop your persuasive abilities, it's vital to remain open-minded and receptive to new information. If you encounter contradictory evidence, be willing to reevaluate your stance. The art of persuasion necessitates that you must be persuadable yourself. This open-mindedness will not only help you grow as a persuader but will also reflect positively on your credibility as a communicator.
In conclusion, Gowdy's "Doesn't Hurt to Ask" teaches the importance of asking questions as a powerful persuasion tool. Remember that the ultimate goal is effective communication, not winning arguments, and to achieve that, you must set realistic expectations, gather facts, and know your objective. By practicing these techniques and staying open to altering your beliefs when confronted with new evidence, you can master the art of persuasion and achieve successful communication. Embrace this subtle art to not only improve your own persuading skills but also foster more genuine connections and understanding with others.